All right, thanks for joining us. We have a panel today for a roundtable discussion. We're talking new media. For more on that, here are our guests, Christopher Spencer, owner of online magazine Ozarks Unbound, with some years in the newspaper business. We have Matthew Petty, serves on the Fayetteville City Council, also a social entrepreneur. We also have Bret Schulte with the University of Arkansas Journalism Department, teaches multimedia there. Guys, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Let's get straight to the talk, and I actually want to go to Matthew Petty first. Matthew, what sparks this conversation actually was a blog post that said that traditional journalists weren't maybe as trustworthy as bloggers, and I just want to know your thoughts. Is that accurate? Do you actually believe that way, or is that not quite the case?
Well, no, I don't believe that, although it is a catchy headline, and it wasn't mine. It was a link I made. But it is an interesting question. I think that comes up. You look at some examples like you have experts who run blogs. I think a prototypical example might be climate scientists. They might have their own blogs, and their studies are peer-reviewed and published on blogs for you to look at. And then you look at the conversation that happens throughout the media, and in bringing in experts and people with oppositional viewpoints, you don't have the same kind of clarity that you do in the media that you might on these expert sites. But the juxtaposition of bloggers versus journalists, I don't really think is a correct one. To ask if a blogger is a journalist or if blogging constitutes journalism, it doesn't really make sense. That's kind of like asking if printed ink is journalism. It's just another kind of technology, and its use doesn't imply intent.
But the idea of blogging is to get news out there, and you know, Christopher Spencer, you worked in the newspaper biz for a while, and you know, your blog, you get local news out there. The idea is to get people to come to your blog for news, but you don't have the resources, I would think, that a newspaper or television station has. Is that a problem with trying to deliver news?
It can be sometimes, but really, I mean, the focus of what I do online is different than what a traditional newspaper does when they try to be a paper of record, for example. What I try to do is I telescope into an issue and try to cherry pick what are the most newsy issues. And then sometimes I pull back and provide a more regional, contextual perspective on news. But to hit to that issue of blogger versus journalist, you know, I wear that title, blogger or journalist. It doesn't matter to me. But I will say that I have seen among some sort of journalists with a capital, you know, J, if you will, that there is some sense of pushing away the bloggers, quote unquote, and even delegitimizing a little bit.
Wow.
Like I, for example, I mean, I'm only on online. You know, I'm not in print, but I think that by producing original content, you know, you're a blogger, a journalist, whatever, as long as people read it, right? And it's newsworthy. And
Bret, at the U of A, are you seeing students asking more about multimedia and blogging, or is it still teaching traditional journalism at the University of Arkansas?
Well, we believe that traditional journalism isn't going away anytime soon. Things are changing because of blogs and online journalism, but we want our students, and our students still want to learn the basics of journalistic ethics, how to write a good story, how to get the facts up top, how to be fair in your reporting, how to be measured, and how to get to the heart of the story in as quick a manner and as readable a manner as possible. So those skills transfer from paper to digital media or whatever's coming down the pike next.
I want to ask a question anyone can answer. Is newspaper going away? Someone let me know that. A lot of people say yes. Is it going anywhere?
Not anytime soon, that's for sure.
Not anytime soon.
I agree with that. I think newspapers going to be around for a while yet.
Okay, there you go. And also, what about what newspapers do on the internet as far as posting stories and posting content? TV stations do the same thing. Matthew, do TV stations, newspapers, are they doing it right online? Or is maybe the blogging, do you feel, is more accurate as far as online content?
Well, I think that newspapers are making a good effort in general, and there are definitely some papers out there that are doing it right. But in general, they do have a lot to learn. There's a lot to be said for engaging readers and for reporters to take on the role as marketers for their stories, to go out there and promote their stories to their own readers, and even to come back in the comments for the questions for readers and answer those questions and defend their stories and clarify their stories. And that's something that Most newspapers really haven't done that. That's something that has been discouraged traditionally.
I want to give everyone 10 seconds. What is the future of new media? Fad, going away, here to stay. Future of new media, 10 seconds each.
So we're going through some birth pangs right now.
Okay.
Media is changing very quickly, faster than the culture's even able to keep up with. It's going to be rough for the next 2-3 years, but then something's going to emerge, something creative.
Brett, is new media here to stay?
I think it's definitely here to stay. I don't know if Facebook or Twitter are here to stay per se, but social networking is not going away.
And Matthew, blogging obviously important to you. You do it. Is blogging the real deal?
It is the real deal. It's definitely here to stay. It's definitely a disruptive technology, and it's making things possible now that simply weren't possible before.
Guys, thank you for that. Chris, I want to mention you got the mustache going, but it's for a good cause.
You talking about my Mo?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Mo.
I don't know if anyone can see it. It's pretty faint.
Movember.
Yeah, Movember.com. It's a international effort to raise awareness about men's health, prostate, and testicular cancer. It's a young man's disease.
All right.
Be sure and check it out.
All right. I want to thank you guys one more time for coming here. I appreciate you taking your time talking new media. Thank you very much.